Okay, good afternoon, everyone. We are from the Coreslab team. I am May Linda Darmawan from Cal Poly Pomona. I'm an architecture student.
My name is Jonathan Norton. I'm from Brigham Young University, and I'm the engineer on our team.
I am Diego Gonzalez, also from Cal Poly Pomona, and I'm also an architect.
My name is Fernando Gonzalez. I'm representing Sac State as a construction manager.
And we were helped out today by our coaches, Bill, Brian, Howard, and Vern. So let's start off with our key concepts. So this really drove us to design our project. We wanted at first an inclusion of a farmer's market, makerspace, and community garden since we want to give back to the community. The community of Franklinton has some issues of food insecurity, so we really want to target that. And in that type of community, we want to be able to allow themselves to develop themselves, to grow. And having a makerspace where people can be creative, make things for themselves, would really help them grow and develop as a community. We also want to give ease of pedestrian and vehicle access as there already are existing modes of circulation that we don't want to disturb. Because at the end of the day, we are building for the community in the existing land without trying to overbear and change what they already are used to. And we really want to take into account that history, the culture that they have. So instead of erasing that history, we want to take that and blend that with the new. Okay, so there you go. This is our floor plan in which we started our design. When we look at the lot, we have this L-shaped lot that definitely does provide some awkward areas where we have a very lengthy area at the very bottom, but that does provide us very good location to put our parking. Since the parking, we wanted all of our ramps to be located on one side for ease of access and ease of traversing. All of the ramps are tucked to the very right, while all the parking will exist more towards the left. And we want to tuck all of the program where everybody would walk or take the bus to access, all at the top on that lower smaller L. So you can see at the very top with that red box, that is where the gymnasium sits. The gymnasium also will serve as a FEMA-approved tornado evacuation center. Considering the extreme climate changes that we've been seeing today, it's very important that such communities have a safe space to evacuate to, and also a space where they can gather for any reason, be it for emergencies or even just for recreation. And connected to that in the purple, on our very leftmost plan, that was a farmer's market that will target that food insecurity where people can come in and also get the food that they need while going to the dining right across so that people are able to traverse that site, because at the end of the day, we want that entire plot of land to be activated where people can move around and experience the whole project rather than just being stuck to certain corners of the project. And the makerspace is where they would traverse above after they get what they need at the bottom, and they can move and start to develop themselves as they rise.
We wanted our structural elements to also represent the perseverance of this community. As was stated earlier, there is some extreme flooding and other adverse weather that has affected this community. And so our gymnasium and our storm shelter is going to consist of some 3x12 concrete sandwich panels to provide the insulation, but also to provide the strength to make it a FEMA-approved structure. The lightweight double T's that serve as the roof system are secured using a steel channel that's welded into some embedded steel plates into the panels. This is to account for the uplift that would occur in an extreme weather event. And so we really wanted to provide a secure area for these people to be able to go into in the case of adverse weather. The parking structure that we have is quite large, and so it consists of double T's, spandrels, and columns, as seen here in our section. And so the column approach allows us to provide adequate ventilation. It also provides for adequate vision for pedestrians and vehicles to transverse or get through the parking garage safely. The other buildings in our center, they consist of 12-inch concrete panels, the solid panels, and they have interior steel framing for the partition walls. One factor that we accounted for was we have a garden on top of our dining area that we wanted to be a community feature. And so for those buildings, we used hollow core slabs for the roofing that would reduce the dead load and reduce the size of the members that are supporting this roof with the garden. And so we wanted to have the structural elements also be something that contributes to the people as well, and something that will help them. And so the structural elements, the beauty of using precast is that they also are going to serve as something beautiful with the architecture, and something that will help reflect the community of not only Franklinton, but also of Columbus in general.
Yes. And with that, we wanted to celebrate what was in the community itself as it stands right now, and to try to pry back from the new modern aesthetic as detracting from it. So we focused on the three main faces of the building plot. We focused on the firehouse that's to the north. So we went with a more contemporary panel with brick, with thin brick that we will also show you in a later scene. And a more modern precast panel that takes in elements of the residential buildings and the elements of the buildings that have the wooden slats, and take that into precast and modernize in a blend between the residential that stands there and the more intrusive residential development going on. Additionally, the site also contained an old carriage loading area, so we also took that into account with the panels at the bottom of the screen, and we also used that for the storefronts that are at the bottom of the parking structure to allow the community to have more local businesses. And these are some renderings of the project. And as we talked before, the brick gymnasium is facing the old fire station, so we took into account the brick panels. And in front of the station, there's also a bus route, so we wanted it to serve as a landmark for the community. And the bus stop has these beautiful curved sculptural panels that are only possible with the fiber steel that we also have samples of, and we will show you, in the next slide. But we just want to show our idea of providing the community a place that they can see as their own home, or a landmark in their home, and to always find their place within that space. So we included many showroom products in the very few hours that we were able to actually go through the floor during these very hectic design hours. So we included brick samples from Summitville that provided, provided many color samples as we try to accurately achieve the tones of the actual existing buildings. Endicott also provided a vertical score for the thin brick, and Architectural Polymers was also able to provide a thin brick sample that we focused on because of the many range of sizing and their dimensions that they were able to give us accurately. And the steel fiber, as you saw previously, was used for the sculptural element for the bus stop and the gymnasium front.
Alright, so now with all the precast, we have one of the most important projects on the project too, is the schedule. As you can see here, our start date is March 1st. I do have the legend on top, which marks our milestone dates, which is some of the important parts of it. It's highlighted in yellow there. So we start off with the design and submittals, which takes around 6 to 8 months, depending on the variation of the company and the workflow. We then proceed to our precast shop drawings, which takes roughly around 60 days. And then we have our formwork, which is an important part of the project, given this is a precast, which is another 60 days, give or take. Then we decide to start with our site work, so with the excavation and the earthwork proceeding there, which is around 2 or 3 months, give or take. We have our construction phase, which is one of the most important parts. Also, which this is our, we start with the parking structure on the very far south side of the project, and then we slowly move on from there with the crane to the north side of the buildings to erect the panels, which takes around, give or take, 20 days. And then from there, we also did decide to include our subcontractors just to give a very broad perspective of what is to come in the near future. And then I did also want to include, this was a total of 14 months, which could be reduced down a little bit just because we did also include subcontractors and extra time frames just for any deals. And then, okay. And then this is our Gantt chart just to represent the number of days and how everything kind of fits in with each other with the precast. This was actually one of the first times working with the Precast project, which is very interesting. We were able to see how the dates overlap and kind of the importance of precast, especially to a community, which has such a small project for site logistics. We saw that there wasn't many space for much movement. So this was able to actually work really well in our benefit and kind of get things going pretty fast. Which here it does show 48 days, which the total is 61 work weeks, but the remaining is very similar to the right bottom structure. And then with that, given.
And once again, I just want to thank our team at Coreslab that stayed with us for many, many hours with patience. Thank you once again. Sika for sponsoring this event, and PCI as a whole, and every other sponsors for this amazing experience that, while hectic, was amazing. Thank you.